Coming up tonight on the News at 6. Governor Greg Gianforte will address lawmakers tonight in his first State of the State. Plus,
and we all need that second chance to be able to prove to not just ourselves, but to the community.
how Helena businesses are teaming up to improve a transitional home for men leaving correctional facilities.
From Montana's news leader, this is MTN News at 6.
Good evening. Welcome to the News at 6. I'm Marian Davidson. Thanks for joining us. Well, in just under an hour, Governor Greg Gianforte will lay out his agenda for Montana in his first State of the State address. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian tells us what we can expect from the speech.
Here in the Montana House chambers, lawmakers will gather tonight to hear Governor Greg Gianforte's goals for the legislative session as he delivers the State of the State address. Every 2 years, the governor speaks to a joint session of the House and Senate to highlight priorities. Gianforte is Montana's first Republican governor in 16 years. He's expected to focus on what he's called the Montana Comeback Plan, aimed at helping the state recover from the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. As governor, he's frequently talked about the need for economic growth, good jobs, and a more responsive government. Gianforte told MTN this morning that he plans to share a hopeful, optimistic vision of the state's future. Now, in an ordinary year, all 150 legislators plus a number of guests would be here on the House floor. But this year, to allow for social distancing, lawmakers will be allowed to either attend here in person, watch from several other rooms in the Capitol, or view the speech online. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
And again, Governor Greg Gianforte is scheduled to give that first State of the State address to the Montana legislature tonight. And you can watch the entire event on the KTVH streaming app for Roku and other devices. Coverage again starts at 7. And to learn more about the KTVH streaming app, visit ktvh.com/streaming. And now it's time for First Weather with Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz. Good evening, Curtis.
Good evening, Marian. You know, I don't think it's a secret that I'm a snow lover, but it's kind of hard to not enjoy today's weather.
It was beautiful today.
It was pretty nice out there, especially around the Helena area. Maybe not so much up around Cut Bank, where it still is 16 degrees, 31 in Havre, 27 in Glasgow. But you head south of the High Line, and we got into some of that warmer air. Many locations in the 40s to near 50 for a high, and it still is 46 in Helena. Why? Well, because of an increased southwest flow out ahead of that monster storm into California. Been talking about this for the last few days, and that storm has pushed up some warmer air out ahead of it. The warm before the storm, well, for tomorrow, a little segment of this storm will come up into the state, and I think a few of us that were in the 40s today we'll see the flakes for tomorrow. But really another January thaw. I know it feels like the whole month has been kind of a January thaw. We'll have some flakes tomorrow and then a warmer weekend. And we're flipping that February switch here. Get ready for winter. Better late than never, so to speak, but it does look like the first few weeks of February we could have not only a few shots of snow, but also some Arctic air. I'll have more on the full forecast coming up.
Taking a look at the state's COVID-19 situation, active cases of COVID-19 and hospitalizations from the virus in Montana continue to decline. As of today, there are about 3,900 active cases. This is the first time active cases have fallen below 4,000 since October 1st. Active hospitalizations continue to sit below 120. However, the death toll continues to rise, with 21 new deaths reported since last night. The statewide death total is now 1,225. Now, 14 of those deaths are out of Flathead County and are a result of a death data audit by Montana DPHHS. Well, transitioning out of the Department of Corrections back into society can be very challenging. Silver Creek Management houses men going through just that and gives them skills to be successful. And some Helena businesses are making it all possible. MTN's Alexia Guayo has the story.
Duncan Flooring are discussing their plans to renovate this basement.
Well, the room's going to be empty.
The project includes clearing everything out to add new carpet throughout the entire space. The folks living in this home say the project will bring more comfort for those taking part in their men's wellness group.
I guess our men's wellness groups, we have kind of just here in the front part of the house, there's a living room and a kitchen table, and there's nowhere where we're able to kind of like face each other, be in that traditional circle, feel secure.
The wellness group is conducted on a bi-weekly basis with about 10 or more men from this or other transitional living spaces in Helena. These men all share similar stories, from going through the justice system to now being in peer support living and transitioning back into our community. The owner of Duncan Flooring went through a similar situation when he was younger and decided to donate flooring as a way to give back.
We've both been there. We've both been in trouble and had our run with the drugs back in our younger days, and just trying not to forget where we came from so we don't go back. Just want to help show other people that are coming out of the prison system that they can succeed. They can come from that type of lifestyle and turn it around.
Jason is a certified behavioral health specialist with the Helena Indian Alliance, and he too is recovering from addiction and understands what many of these men go through. He continues to volunteer and conduct these groups because he says with peer support, 7 out of 10 people can break the cycle of addiction, compared to 1 out of 10 who don't have help.
And we all need that second chance, and to be able to prove to not just ourselves, but to the community that we can recover and we can change our lives.
In Helena, I'm Alexi Iguayo, MTN News.
Flooring installation is scheduled to take place this weekend. Carpet One provided the materials to Duncan Flooring for the project. The mining city is hoping a company can help turn some of the most toxic water in the state into a green energy source. And lawmakers are currently weighing a bill that could provide tax incentives for the development of green hydrogen. MTN's John Amy reports.
Butte is hoping a company called Mitsubishi Power will locate near the mining city to manufacture a green energy source from Montana's water.
It would be a huge economic impact and you know, projected to be over $1 billion of investment into Southwest Montana.
The plant would extract green hydrogen from the water as a power source for Montana. Butte's chief executive was in Helena this week to support House Bill 170 that would classify green hydrogen as an energy source to be taxed. It's a step necessary before Mitsubishi Power would consider locating in Montana.
Hydrogen is kind of the wave of the future with green energy because of the carbon footprint, and just as a community and as a government, we think this is something that we can really support.
Butte officials say the plant would be located at the Port of Montana industrial area southwest of Butte.
It could be up to 1,000+ jobs of construction that would go into this plant in the 5 years of construction phase, and then 100 residual jobs that are here permanently.
If the legislature does classify green hydrogen from water as a taxable energy source, the chief executive hopes the state makes that taxable rate competitive, which would encourage the company to locate in Butte.
It's got to be competitive, because if it's not competitive, they're going to go to other states that may offer them a better competitive tax rate.
That was John Amy reporting. And House Bill 170 had its first hearing in the House Taxation Committee on Tuesday. And still ahead on the news at 6, it is National News Literacy Week, and MTN's chief political reporter Mike Dennison and reporter John Riley sat down with Carroll College students to talk about covering politics in the Treasure State.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back to the News at 6. The Montana Television Network partnered with the News Literacy Project for National News Literacy Week. MTN's John Riley has more from a town hall between chief political reporter Mike Dennison and Carroll College students about covering politics here in Montana.
As chief political reporter, Mike Dennison has reported on emotional and divisive issues. Many of the Carroll students had questions about disinformation on social media and the difference between opinion and fact-based journalism.
When reporting, do you ever find yourself kind of caught between your own, political position or favorability and the story that you're covering? And then, how do you navigate a situation like that?
Let's take the issue of abortion, for example. I mean, when I do a story on abortion, I'm going to talk to the people who are on one side and the other, I mean, they report the facts, and that's that.
So Gallup and Knight ran a poll and surveyed people, and 62% of the people that were polled stated that they believe that the media has bias. 41% said that there was misinformation in the news sources. So what exactly does an article go through in order to be vetted and screened to be ready to be published?
I complete the draft and I go through it and read it. And whenever I come across something, I go, is that really true? I'll double check it. Make sure that it's right. I think that happens in most organizations that have professionally trained reporters.
At MTN, each story is read and reread by news directors, producers, anchors, and the reporters themselves. When we have questions about the veracity, we ask each other and follow up before it goes on air. But even the most seasoned reporters can make errors and misinterpret what was said by someone during an interview. When that happens, the responsible action is to admit the error, run a retraction or correction as soon as possible, and do so in a way that is clear to the viewers. News literacy is the ability to determine credibility of news and other content, and to use fact-based journalism to determine what to share, trust, and act on. In a time of growing online disinformation, the Montana Television Network encourages everyone to have a conversation about news literacy with their family and friends, no matter their age. Reporting in Helena, John Riley, MTN News.
And you can see that full town hall between Mike and the Carroll College students on our website, ktvh.com. And now with another look at the weather, here's Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz.
Well, it was a beautiful night last night with the 99.3% full moon. Well, it's full tonight, the full wolf moon out there, the first of 3 super moons coming up this year. More on the full forecast coming up next.
Tracker weather starts now with Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz.
Welcome back, everybody. Good Thursday evening to you all. Beautiful day for most of the state, except Oneida Pass. The southwestern part of the state had a little snow. Roads don't look too terrible right now, nor around the Geyser area here where Highway 87's rolling through, looking pretty nice. 36 degrees currently in Great Falls. That temperature about where the average high should be for the day. And in Helena, nice to see the sunlight still in the sky. 46 degrees, the current reading. South winds gusting up to 31 miles per hour. It's that south wind that really shoved that colder air that we've been stuck in for the last few days off towards the north. Still pretty chilly. 30 degrees colder in Cut Bank right now than it is in Helena. A lot of the central and southern part of the state made it up into the 40s and 50s for highs, and we're currently still in the 30s and the 40s. A touch of some snow on the radar though, and there will be a touch more as we get into Friday. Up here around the Sweetgrass Hills, maybe a few flakes of some snow into that colder air. Around the Flathead Valley, around Kalispell and Ronan, St. Ignatius, picking up a little in the way of some snow. And here's some of that snow mainly to the south of Oneida Pass and Reynolds Pass there. Eastern Idaho, a little slippery. And this precipitation continues all the way down into California. It's been going on here for over about 24 hours. Mammoth ski area, 76 inches of snow in 2 days. When all is said and done, they'll likely get over 100 inches in a storm. That's a perfect storm for me, especially up there at a ski area. Elsewhere around the country, not looking at much, but a little snow will increase here for Friday. Now heading into early Friday morning, that's when we'll start to see a little snow maybe to the south of Helena, down there around Boulder and Basin, Elk Park, Butte America, maybe a little snow in the morning hours, and there will be some snow increasing around the Helena area into the afternoon. Up around Great Falls and out into the central part of the state, maybe a few raindrops and a few flakes. This is not a big storm. Really, I don't think it'll impact travel unless you head up in elevation, but by Friday later in the evening, some snow pushing up towards the high line here. So after 40s to about 50 degrees, back into a little winter here for Friday afternoon and Friday evening. Some snow working its way across Fort Peck Lake to around the Glasgow area for Friday night into Saturday morning. Saturday morning, maybe some clouds and a couple lingering snow showers, but by Saturday afternoon, a nice amount of sunshine and temperatures going back up into the 30s and the 40s for highs. So snowfall through Friday afternoon and evening, where you see the shade of gray, maybe up to about an inch Some locations, higher elevations, could see about 2 to as much as 3 inches of snow by the time we get into Friday night and Saturday morning. Here's the forecast for tonight. Teens out to the high line, so still some cold air for parts of the state, but you get into central Montana, 26 in Lewistown at the end of January. That is not cold. 27 in Helena. That is not cold either here for this time of year. Tomorrow, low pressure, a weak one, working its way up into the south central part of the state. A little light snow, Helena, Great Falls, Lewistown, maybe mixed with a few raindrops through the afternoon and the evening hours. Again, light, just watch out heading up over the mountain passes. Could be a little slick. Saturday, increasing sunshine through the afternoon and the evening. Looking very nice. Temperatures up into the 30s and the 40s. Sunday, if you want some sunshine, we'll have plenty of it. And warm temperatures again, 40s to near 50. And how about the 1st of February? Many locations, 40s and 50s, even the high line. But that cold front will be coming through on Groundhog Day, Tuesday, with a return of winter. Tuesday and Wednesday, some light snow around, maybe a few inches, possibly in the Helena area. And for Great Falls, a little mix of some rain and snow tomorrow afternoon and evening. A mild weekend, and Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, some snow. And really, folks, the first couple of weeks in February look much colder with Arctic air and several shots of snow.
Thank you, Curtis. Still ahead on the news at 6, we will explain why you keep hearing about GameStop in the news.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back to the news at 6. GameStop has all of a sudden become the hottest name in investing. Why? Because people on an internet chat board decided to pump up the company's stock in order to hurt large hedge funds. Well, now several stock trading apps and brokerages placed new restrictions on trades involving GameStop. As NBC's Chris Pallone reports, it is a David and Goliath story that has shaken investors who are not sure if this trend will continue.
Last week, GameStop was just another retailer struggling to survive during the pandemic. Now it's the most talked about company in the world of big finance. Stock price surging 8,000% in the last 6 months and briefly trading for more than $500 a share Wednesday, despite no real change in the company's profitability or outlook.
The video game store whose stock has gone to the moon in the last few weeks for no apparent reason.
So why the surge? Because small-time amateur investors decided to band together and do it.
If you go on the Reddit chat rooms, or you're shocked at how much anger. There's almost a nihilism of let's tear down the system.
But instead of tearing the system down, users of an internet chat board called Wall Street Bets on Reddit decided to use the system to their advantage. They noticed big money Wall Street firms were betting that GameStop stock would go down and would make big money if it did. So the small investors started pumping money into GameStop stocks.
It's risky because we are doing options investing, but people made it good arguments that said, I think this is going to go up.
The surge in GameStop stock price caused big hedge funds to lose more than $14 billion Wednesday. While many small investors made a fortune on GameStop, analysts say some could lose money they can't afford when the bubble ultimately bursts.
Those of us who've seen this movie before have a responsibility to tell folks how it ends. And unfortunately, it typically ends badly.
Still unknown whether this populist online uprising is almost over or just getting started. Chris Pallone, NBC News, New York.
The White House declined to comment on GameStop today, but yesterday the Securities and Exchange Commission said it is monitoring the situation. And we'll wrap things up here on the news at 6 when we come back.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 6.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Here's a really sweet story to wrap up the 6 o'clock news for you. The pandemic has been a very tough time overall for nursing home residents, and some high school students in Minnesota did a little something to help raise the spirits of some of them. They built snowmen and snow sculptures outside their windows.
With COVID and everything, I feel like it can get kind of lonely, especially with not a lot of visitors and stuff. So maybe it's just a little something to brighten their day. They can look at it when they feel sad or lonely, or just need something to look at out the window.
Well, they've got a lot more snow there than we have here. More than a dozen National Honor Society students took part in the volunteer effort. That's a nice fun story with a lot of snow. And that does it for the news at 6. We'll be back here tonight at 10 with your latest local headlines and another look at the weather. And you can stay with us around the clock on KTVH.com. We'll see you later tonight. Have a good evening.